Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Kabri. In preparation for the ICC Champions Trophy 2025, India have kickstarted their ODI bilateral series campaign against England with a pretty comfortable win in the end. It didn't look as comfortable in the beginning of that chase, but they saw it through. Um, England put up 248. Or they were bowled out. They didn't play the entirety of the 50 overs. 47.4 is what they managed. And yeah, in return, India, after a shaky start, um, sort of fought back in a. There was a slight comeback from Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer. That partnership kind of sealed the fate of the match, and eventually, India cruising to victory. Akshar Patel 52, very very handy. We'll talk about Akshar and his role as well towards the end of the podcast. But the major talking point, I think, from this game has been Shreyas Iyer. We'll get to Shubman Gill as well and what his role could be in ODI cricket going forward. But Shreyas Iyer is the big talking point, right? No Virat Kohli apparently because of injury. Iyer came out after the conclusion of the game. He was asked like how he prepared and all of that for this game, and he said, "I was watching a film or something like that, and suddenly I got a call saying you have to prepare. You're playing tomorrow because Virat is injured." And so he came on and he put on a show and put on a pretty good performance, 59 and 36. Now with if Virat Kohli is to play the next game, Sunday's game, Rishi Shreyas Iyer going to be the one to sit out again? Like, do you think that's a fair call? Like, what do you think?
See that I mean, it's not a fair call to begin with because first of all, I felt he played well. Like from what we saw, his batting was like really good. Like he looked in form, he looked in sync. Like like he was timing the ball well. He was striking, he was middling the ball well. Like up until the point he got out. Like though, like his batting, like it looked very convincing in the sense it didn't look like he was struggling for runs. It looked like the runs were naturally coming for him. So from that perspective, it feels a little bit hard done by that. Okay, he might have to sit out for the next game, but if someone does have to sit out, who else will sit out other than him? Because yesterday, like I feel one of Jadeja or Aksar for now is not a necessity. But that's the thing. If we need another sixth bowling option, we don't have anybody else. So it kind of makes sense because as of yesterday, we bowled Shami, Harshit Rana, Akshar Patel, Hardik Pandya, Kuldeep, and Jadeja. That's our six bowling options. So if we were to drop one of Akshar or Jadeja, that means we pretty much have only five bowling options. So we have to lose out on somewhere. That's the thing. Like Jadeja, I don't think he can contribute as much with the bat, but he makes up for it with his bowling. And Aksar yesterday, just going by yesterday, he had a little bit more to offer with the bat, but is it enough? I don't really know. So it's going to be a difficult decision to take. Whoever is being dropped, I think, will be hard done by.
Yeah, so the presumption apparently from a lot of the experts was that Yashasvi Jaiswal was the one to replace Virat Kohli and not Shreyas Iyer. I think they expected that Gill would open the batting with Rohit and then the order would follow.
Hmm.
Um, Adi, are you surprised that Shreyas Iyer was not included at all in the squad to start off with?
No, I'm not that surprised, bro. Like,
Hmm.
you look back at Shreyas Iyer career, I think he's been slowly, eased out of the Indian squad overall. Like in tests, he's taken out. He's not playing the T20s. So it's not really that much of a surprise when, you look at a player who hasn't played international cricket for almost 7, 8 months. I didn't expect, like, it's not such a huge shock if I'm seeing reports that he's not included or he's not starting, just for the fact that he hasn't played enough cricket, international cricket. It's been over 6 months. Entirety of last year, he only played 3 games of, like, top flight international cricket, and then you look at guys like Jaiswal, Akshar Patel. They're all in form in terms of they're still in touch, playing cricket regularly, especially in the team. Done more for the country over the recent past. So it's actually not that huge of a surprise that, for me at least, Jaiswal started because I expected him to start the series. I think it made sense when I saw Jaiswal not playing in the T20, you know, format against T20 series against England. I was like, okay, they might be resting him for the Champions Trophy because it didn't make sense, not giving him at least a chance there. And I think before the Champions Trophy, this 3 games is the only time he can play and get set. For me, ideally, the only guy I would think about dropping right now would be either Rohit Sharma, because apart from that, no one else is. I think everyone else deserves a chance to an extent to play. Even Jaiswal, like looking at yesterday, I think he got a bit unlucky, but first game you can't really judge much from it. Compared to Rohit Sharma, again, bro, it's the same thing. Like what 10 innings since he's scored about 20 runs. The form has continued in Ranji Trophy, it's in international cricket, Test matches now, even in ODI is the same thing. So it really doesn't make sense for me at least to look at players here coming in means who the only one who is who can go out. It is Rohit Sharma. I don't think anyone else deserves that thing of being dropped. And yeah, like you can't do anything about it because we know what the status is with Rohit Sharma. No matter what happens, he will be in the team. So it's just that if the other 5 guys in the batting lineup, the one who doesn't perform, maybe he's the one who gets chopped off. That's how it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a matter of okay, can they drop the captain? Can they look a solution from somewhere else?
Yeah, it's actually very interesting because even if you say, okay, Virat is going to come back in for a year, there is a little bit of an imbalance in the sense that you're batting Gill at 3 and Virat bats at 4. Rishi, like, how do you see that happening? Do you think Virat is going to bat at number 4, which he hasn't done for a long time in ODI cricket?
I mean, who else will bat three
No,
realistically?
Gill was the one who was playing four. When you saw the screen, also, I remember before the match, like you could see Iyer was number 3 and it was Gill number 4. So I think it was
No,
Virat who would have played three.
either way,
That's how,
even if Gill does bat at 4, I still feel like that is a very like I don't remember Shubman Gill batting at number 4 in any form of cricket. I don't remember it at all. So either way, I feel like it would be a fairly new thing. If even if Virat is to bat at 4 or Gill is to bat at 4, it's a weird situation. So like for me again personally, I would go like Gill right at the top itself and have him open the
Drop
batting.
soon. Yashasvi Jaiswal.
If I was
Realistically, no,
if
no,
I
no.
if it were
We're all in
if it were
consensus
up
that
to me,
Rohit Sharma needs to be dropped, but let's just make peace with the fact that he's not going to be dropped.
bro, see,
So who is that other option?
I would have actually genuinely started the series with Rohit Sharma and Gill. I would have. That's how I would have started. I completely understand the whole Yashasvi Jaiswal conversation. He deserves it, 100%. Like no, and I think he was, bro. Yesterday, I think Archer yesterday is the best form version of Archer I've seen in a long time. He's spelled his 3-4 overs to Yashasvi Jaiswal, amazing, almost
Yeah.
unplayable. Coming around the wicket and moving it away was brilliant. It was. I don't think he could have done much with it, Jaiswal. But anyways, yeah, I would have started with Rohit Sharma and Gill just to sort of say that okay, yeah, Rohit, you've not had a good test series. You've obviously not played well and all of that, even in that one Ranji Trophy game that he got. But your ODI numbers are what they are, and you have done well. And there's I can't say you deserve to get dropped from this side. But if his form carried on, and in the sense that he didn't perform, like even yesterday, the his manner, like I can take Jaiswal's wicket. Like
bro,
I
but
can
the
take
point,
Jaiswal's wicket. Okay,
yeah,
like
but
in the sense that it was a beauty. But Rohit again yesterday, like what
He
was
was
that?
going
Like
down the
it
leg,
was a
swinging
nothing shot.
outside. I mean, swinging away from the wicket also.
It was a
bro,
nothing shot. Like
tell me one thing. What is the difference between him getting out in Test cricket versus yesterday? Is there
no,
any
that's what I'm
difference?
saying. I
Like,
agree.
exactly.
I don't think he. It was again like one of those disappointing dismissals where I'm just like,
Bro,
ah,
yeah, it's just being lazy. Like, it's nothing else. It's the
yeah, like
mindset. The mindset is like, I'm not pushing to even finish my shot. I'm playing my shots half-hearted, and bro, that's the result of what it is. Bro, I don't think right now, looking at the way he bats, I don't think he last 20 to 25 balls. Like that's the max you can get out of him. And it doesn't matter if it's a test match, it doesn't matter if it's a T20, it doesn't matter if it's an ODI. It's the same result everywhere. So I even me previously I was like, yeah, he deserves a chance in the ODI team, white ball cricket, because of the fact that he was in good form. He was playing a lot of games for India and scoring a lot of runs. But bro, you look at it now, I think it's a different thing. Like I don't know if it's suddenly like the mindset has gone and now he's changed completely as a batsman. Because it is just that. It's just, are you physically conditioned enough to play 20 overs? Bro, as an opener, do you think you can get 10 to 15 overs from Rohit Sharma in an ODI match? Like right now, honestly, you tell
I
me.
don't think I can
No,
get
I
10 to
don't.
15 overs from Rohit Sharma in
Exactly.
any format.
Exactly. So my point is like you're already wasting a wicket there. Now, previously, everyone were talking about, okay, this guy is some crazy guy. He's going to score runs left, right, center from get go. Proper Sehwag's placement. He score runs just from the start. He's going to be aggressive from the start. He did that in the ODI, but since then he's played a lot of Test matches. He's played a lot of ODI to an extent, and now you can see that I don't feel like he's going to last a lot of time. Even in the time when he used to play, he used to score a lot of runs, and that time it worked. But now, when you're not scoring a lot of runs, it's just like a freebie wicket. Like it's almost like, bro, what's the difference? It looks like Gill is technically playing number three only at a point of time. If you're losing your wicket so early, and then next Virat comes, and if he doesn't perform well, then who is like Gill? Like the point is like, I think for me, at least with Gill, it's like I think he can play number four because it's not such a big difference in terms of if you have people in front of you losing wickets easily. I just don't think it's that big of a difference. Because if Gill came at where Shreyas Iyer yesterday, what's the difference between three and four? I think it was the same thing, if you just look back yesterday. Like there was no difference between coming as three or a
No,
four.
like for me, like the only issue I would have is if you had Gill, Virat, and KL as your 3, 4, 5. So now you got that big partnership yesterday, and that's probably why Aksar came in at 5. I don't know if that's a plan that they have for the future as well. But they
No,
had
but
Iyer
even
there.
though the interesting part was in the batting lineup, like before when they showed the lineup before the game, they showed that Akshar Patel was coming ahead of KL Rahul. Even in the lineups, they put Akshar Patel ahead of KL Rahul.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
like,
don't think it was a match situation. I just think they promoted him. Maybe it's because he's a lefty. I don't know, but I just think
it
they've just
could be that it could, like, I think first be that he's a lefty and that's why they pushed him up the order. Or I think for me, it's a situation of, okay, if they've scored runs, yeah, let's send Aksar because the match demands runs now. Like, you can score freely because you've got runs behind you. But if the situation is such that it's a little tight, I think they might choose to send KL Rahul like in those
and make it
situations
even more tighter. Huh?
and make sure that like
Yeah.
there's some stability in the innings. But
Okay.
bro, but like on a serious note, I think if you have Virat, Gill, and KL at 3, 4, 5, I think that's you need some little more like explosiveness somewhere there. I think
Some
somebody
fun.
who's a little more hands on.
But you have Hardik, right? Like you have Hardik. I think you
But
have
like
Akshay
what?
Patel also.
Does this team
But like
have a place for Rishabh Pant? Again, I'm just throwing in a name.
Uh,
if KL is the first choice, and like if he, as long
No,
as
no,
he's
KL
not
as a pure
feeling,
batter. We can still play KL as a pure batter.
I don't think there's a place for
Bro, for
KL.
me, honestly speaking, I think Dhruv Jurel should be there in the ODI format. I just haven't seen Punt playing ODI cricket enough at all in my life. I don't remember the last time he played ODI cricket. I think it was like what, against Australia like 2, 3 years ago. And he's not worked out well in ODI anyways. For me, it's like if you need a good keeper, I think we already have KL. You can see in the white ball he can keep well. If it's not KL, I think Dhruv Jurel is a much better keeper. And I'd rather have a guy coming in as a wicket keeper and grooming him for the future than suddenly putting Dhruv Jurel in the deep end after 4 years later, right? It doesn't make sense. So for me, it's like if you're going to keep KL Rahul and then Punt really doesn't have a shout, I would rather just keep Punt for properly for Test matches, and I would have a white ball player like Dhruv Jurel. I think he deserves a better shout playing because, bro, I don't know, with Punt for me, I don't see him playing ODI. Like I just can't see it.
I don't think KL gets into this team as a pure batter only because then you have to remove one of the all rounders for another keeper.
But
Like
he
I
does
don't
get in as a bat. Like, bro, at the end of the day, it's
no they
like it's
don't.
Bunt
I don't
versus
think
KL Rahul. And
I
the
don't
reason
think
KL
it's
Rahul is
because
playing is because of his batting. It's not
no,
because of
that
his
is
See,
fair.
keeping.
I
Rahul, if you
agree.
don't now,
I
now
agree,
Rahul, if
but
you don't
hmm,
have KL Rahul, like say Rohit Sharma Gill opens, Virat comes three, Iyer comes four. Who comes five then after that? Hardik Pandya. Straight up, we're gonna start like at number 5. We're gonna bring in an all rounder. The list of all rounders are gonna start from number 5. That's a little too. We need one more technical, like a pure batter there.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, then you have your keeper. Like if you choose to play Pant, you'll have Pant at five. If you choose to play KL, you'll play KL at five. Now, if you're saying that you choose like you play one more keeper and KL, then you're dropping one of the all rounders. Then you don't have a six bowling option. Now, if you're okay with that, then it's fine. But
Yeah,
if I don't
yeah,
think you'd
exactly.
go in without a six bowling option. So that that I don't think like the Indian
I
team will
think
be okay with.
if we can play Hardik Pandya and KL, I think then it should be fine. If you want that little bit of aggression, a little bit of acceleration, I think he can. Hardik Pandya can give that to an extent. Like
Yeah,
maybe
I
not
think
as reliable as Pant, like in the sense to step on the gas and give the runs, but I still feel he
No,
can do that job if necessary.
I think Hardik is more aggressive than Punt. In
No, no,
white ball
he
cricket,
is,
no,
he
no,
can be, but
I
then
think so
like
too.
that
But yeah,
bank of runs, like hmm,
bro, I'm sure Hardik has a better average strike rate in ODI than like Punt. If you guys just go check it, I don't think in white ball cricket in ODI, I don't think Punt has been a great batsman. Yeah,
yeah, no, I
overall,
agree.
every time I think Hardik is very like. I feel like he's a good batsman if he has time,
Hmm.
and that's the thing. Like ODI, you actually have more time to play compared to T20, and I actually think Hardik is a pretty solid batsman. Like I think as a all rounder around the entire world, I think he's the best guy who I can back as a proper batting and bowling all rounder. I don't think anyone else can do both. Bowling maybe here or there, but like at least with the bat, as an all rounder, I think he's the only guy who can play well right now. Like I don't think anyone else is explosive enough or like can score good runs as a batsman and a bowler.
yeah, I mean they're actually very similar. Averages Hardik Pandya averages 34 and Pant averages 33.5. Very close. Pant strikes at 106 and Hardik Pandya strikes at 110. So not like he's slightly better, but like there's not too much of a difference between
Also,
them.
how many games between the
Mm.
two? Like each of them play.
Uh, Pandya has played 87. Of course, he's played way more games. Pant 87 games. Pant 31. 30, Pant has not played as much ODI cricket. Like he's obviously not been.
So 31, that's like 3 seasons of IPL basically. When you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, like he's not played too much for India's 50 over team. But it's
Hmm.
it's a very weird one. So like I mean, again, I just go back to the start of this conversation. Do you think Shreyas Iyer stays on? And either of you, like, do you think he continues? He keeps his place?
Bro, for me, I always told like he's a guy who deserves a chance in white ball cricket. I always felt like he has been hard done in the Indian team. I still think he has it. Like from if we were, the last time we had a conversation about Gill, we were saying like he deserves to play regardless of his Test cricket form based on his ODI credentials. I think it's the same as Shreyas Iyer. You look at him. I think he's been almost flawless for India in ODI cricket. I think he has been one of India's informed batsmen in ODI cricket, and it doesn't make sense for me to drop players when they are playing good in a certain format. Like whatever we have in terms of maybe technique, this, that, he has weaknesses, whatever it is. But the matter of fact is, he has still been very competent for India as a batsman, and what I don't think anyone plays the number 4 position better than him right now. Nationally, at least, he can do both. He can be aggressive, or to an extent, he can also take it slow. And I think it suits him naturally, like at least in this ODI team, it suits him naturally to play there. So I don't think anyone else can do it better. So I'd
Okay,
rather
but
have
who do you drop?
anyone.
Who do you leave out?
Oh, Rohit, it has to be Rohit. Like, it's just.
See,
But
then I
again,
get Rohit does get dropped, but he see going forward this season and for this tournament at least, we have to make with peace with the fact that he's going to captain this side.
That's
Like
true,
after
exactly.
Champions Trophy, like of course there's going to be like the way his batting is going, there's going to be talk, there's going to be enough pressure on him. But up until at the end of the tournament, at least his place is cemented. Like
Yeah, that's
you
true.
can't. There's no
bro,
point talking.
if you guys say Rohit doesn't score about 20 runs in the next 2 games, you think he can actually
Still
play the
doesn't go
Champions Trophy?
just before the
Bro,
tournament they won't remove him,
I
Bro,
don't
like
think
it's not
even I
even
don't think
realistic.
you see, he
realistically,
didn't play the most
realistically
important
they
Test
won't
cricket.
they won't hack
He
him.
didn't. He didn't play the most important Test match of India since last. The 2 years ago of the
I
finals.
know he should
BGT.
have
He was
he should have been
dropped. So You
Correct.
can't say that he can't be dropped in white ball. Like I would have agreed if he wasn't dropped before, but he has actually gotten dropped. So you can't say that he's undroppable.
No, it's
I don't
not
know
that
if it,
he's
Kind of,
undroppable. The thing is, they've
yeah.
announced him as captain. Now, I
who
don't
was the
remember the
captain.
last time. Huh?
Who was the captain for the BGT? It was him. Like that's my
No,
point. Like
I agree, but I can't remember that the last time a captain was announced for a tournament and they
And then the
switched the
series,
captain.
like there was like this
I
this
don't
series,
remember.
ODI series is
but
pretty much
but
like a warm-up
again,
series. Get accustomed. Now, if someone doesn't perform in these three games, removing them, although okay, fine, it should like
bro, but
fair
it's
enough.
not only three
If
games.
they
That's
have
what
to
I'm trying
remove,
to
I
say.
suppose the decision is just I don't think the board or I don't think the selectors are gonna take such a bold step.
But it's not three games, bro. That's my point. It's more than three games. Like
Correct.
I
I
I
agree.
still believe there's a lot of, especially when you're opener, you have a bit of similarities playing Test cricket and like ODI. You have to be able to pace your wicket better. And yeah, it is not even that. Like you look at the way he plays, the demeanor, his attitude towards the batting position, captaincy, everything. I don't think it's there for him to be like, yeah, this guy's. It's not just a red ball problem. That's what I'm saying. It's literally his mindset problem. And if he's already gotten dropped once before, especially at the most crucial stage of a test match, test series, he can still get dropped for like a Champions Trophy, which you never know, bro. If they're really hell bent about pushing Jaiswal and they want him to be, mainstay in Indian batting order, like who is the other guy? Like you can't drop KL Rahul now at least because he's the only keeper. You can't drop him at all. You can't scapegoat him. So
See,
who else for me?
they dropped him, or rather, he
Bro,
opted to
that's the
rest
problem,
because
bro.
of
That's the
one game.
issue.
And now
Exactly.
this is an entire tournament. Like, how are they gonna like see
Bro, then
if it were a country like Australia where see the one thing I respect about other nations or especially Australia is they call white as white, they call black as black, they call gray as gray, like whatever, like they don't sugarcoat it as much. Like if you want to drop someone, you just say okay, the performance is bad. Like I remember Mitchell Marsh was the Allen Border Trophy winner. I mean the medal winner. He was the cricketer of the year, Australian cricketer of the year. His form was bad. He got dropped. He wasn't opted to rest. But that's the thing with India when
but
like
he's not the
every
captain, right?
story is added. Now that's the thing. Like Rohit Sharma, it's added. It's an added layer that he is the captain. So there's going to be another story. There's going to be another media storm. There's going to be all that. Considering all this, I like. Will they do it? Should they do it? Definitely. Like
Bro, see,
it just makes sense. But
I
it does.
think
They won't do it.
the dude, look, if you look at that Australia series also, okay, bro, now we are all saying that, yeah, okay, maybe he was dropped. Maybe it was not his own decision, but at face value, like if you look at it on paper, the statements that have come out is that Rohit Sharma decided to step out of that test. I am going to like it may sound weird, but I'm going to say, okay, that is what I'm hearing. That is the public statement that has been made. So we take that and say Rohit Sharma himself decided not to play that game. Now, if that actually is true, do you think the Indian like coaching staff or the management have it in them to pull him out before a big series or a big tournament? I don't think so. If the Indian like whatever management was that strong and that bold, I feel like that would have happened in the Australia series itself, where the management
Exactly.
maybe would have come and said, "No, Rohit's performance is not good enough. He's not going to be playing this game." Instead, it was Rohit himself who came and said, "I'm stepping back and I'm sitting out this one
But
out."
see,
So,
that's the thing. Like their statement of whatever it is, like you can say PR statements, you can say controlling, the fans, whatever it is. Like you have to control your fans because it's different. That's the thing. Like if you want to talk about Australia, it's different. Like with Australia, if they drop even the captain, they're very harsh. They're very black and white. They're okay with dropping the captain if they have a better player, if they know they can do better. But with India, we've spoken. It's not just a matter of you
It's
know
very emotion driven.
Exactly. And it's also like, as we say, like with India, it's like we have such a huge fan base. Like we have different groups in the fan. Like you have your Virat fans, Dhoni fans, Rohit fans, etc. So it's more of a fandom where if you drop one guy, then that's the thing. I've always said this. Like if you drop Virat and the guy who comes in to replace Virat, I think there's huge pressure on him. And if he doesn't perform, and I know there's like a lot of implications of like if I don't play well and Virat's drop because of me, I will get a lot of, and on my own stick, because like on social media, people will come bash me. And it happened like literally in the Ranji Trophy. You see, like the guy who got Virat's wicket, like you see the way Virat fans went and attacked him. Look at how
Yeah,
Constas got attacked in the Australia BGT series. And I think it's the same thing with other players. Like I feel like there can be a reason where, teams come out, at least in India, they have to be like maybe, I believe he was dropped. It doesn't make sense for you to rest on the last test match, right? For
no,
me, it
no,
was
but
like,
he's saying he pulled out because he realized he was not playing well.
that's what I'm saying, but
Uh,
that's the whole point. Like, bro, I don't think a captain would come out and say, yeah, I was dropped by my coach. Like, you know what I mean? He
no,
can come out and,
I agree. I am saying like if the management was that bold, or
but I feel
considering
like,
everything,
but that's
So
my
if it
point.
I'm
would
I
have
feel
talking
like,
about
been
India.
I feel
for
like
like
if the
test
management's
players,
like,
they would have just done it. They would have just done it much sooner, and they would have just put it out in a black and white statement that okay, the performances weren't there. We had to like this is a do or die situation. We have to
So,
win it.
so my
It is what
question
it
is
is.
exactly. So my question is, if they didn't do it then, what makes you think that they will do it before the Champions Trophy, which
but
is a
they did
big
it,
tournament?
right? That's what I'm saying.
We
Okay,
don't know
even
if
if
they
it's
did it,
It
Adi.
was
As
yeah,
long
see,
as
it was
fair,
even
see, as
even if
long as
they
they
did
don't
it,
say
it
it,
was
we
very
don't
sugar
know.
coated. It was very
Yeah.
sugar coated, and it was a crucial test, but it was an isolated one single test match. It was not before a series. Now this isn't okay. Like this is a washed down, like watered down ICC tournament, but nonetheless, it is a prestigious ICC tournament, and it's a whole tournament. Before that, are they going to do this? Like
bro.
when we have 5 6
Again,
games.
but you think about it, like even BGT series, it was that do or die game. If you don't win that game, you are technically out of the World Test Championship final. I think that was equally as important as, or more important, that BGT game than going into a Champions Trophy, first of all. And for me, it still, my point is, at least on the paper, they can say I was resting. I can say whatever it is, but behind the scenes, we don't know what happens. Fair enough. Only thing we can do is speculate. But for me, in my opinion, it doesn't make sense where you drop yourself for one game suddenly out of nowhere and just sit it out. I think he was dropped because of a certain management, maybe a coach, maybe the selectors itself. And then you saw reports after that coming and saying that he's going to be dropped from Test cricket overall. So again, we don't know what it was that time, but it can be at that point of time, it looked like he was dropped because it just didn't make sense in my head. Like I've never seen a captain coming and saying, I'm dropping myself, I'm resting. I'm resting. Like he said he's resting. Resting from what? Like why are you taking rest when you've only played three
No, no,
test
but he
matches?
also said that he was not scoring runs, and that's why he's.
Yeah, but like, bro, Rahul, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's fair. But then you see articles after that, they were like, they're gonna take him out. They're also gonna have conversation with Kohli and all. So I think it was also a mixed. At least if it's not one-sided, might have been mutual. But my point is, bro, if it's happened once, it can happen. Even if it's like a matter of fact, if he felt like he wanted rest or drop himself because of poor performances in the BGT final test match, which literally decided your future if you'll play the World Test Championship or not. It could be the same thing with a Champions Trophy. If he's not playing the next 2 3 games well, why can't he be like, yeah, I don't think I'm there right now in cricket, bro? Like, why can't I just drop myself? When you have younger kids like Gill coming in who's more hungry to play, look at Shreyas Iyer yesterday playing. He got his chance. He actually showcased what he can do in that small chance he
I
got.
think, bro, I think that there are like a few issues with this. I think at the end of the day, in that Test series, we still had a Jasprit Bumrah who had captained the Indian team, who was ready to captain on that last Test. I think if Rohit pulls out, I don't know if India have a plan B.
Tap
It
Gill.
looks, yeah, they do, but again, like, will they say, okay, Shubman Gill, ICC Champions Trophy first, like, young captain, go for
But
it? And I
bro,
personally
I
think
don't.
it would create too much pressure on, like,
I mean, to be
unnecessary
fair, Champions
pressure
Trophy
and
Bumrah is
drama
there.
around the team.
Uh, Bro, but if you're a captain, pressure's gonna come anywhere. Like you can be
No, no, I'm
the
not
most
saying pressure,
experienced.
just in general pressure. I'm saying like pressure from the media and like the fans. After if Rohit is not going to play the Champions Trophy, I think it creates a lot of unnecessary pressure on the current players where they have nothing to do with it really.
But you still have the
Um,
pressure, right? Like,
I know,
even if
I
you don't,
agree, but I'm saying like it just creates a lot more unnecessary drama and pressure ahead of a big tournament. I again like I think if that is the case, you drop Rohit Sharma. after the Champions Trophy. I anyways think it's time for Rohit Sharma to call it a day after the Champions Trophy. I don't think he's making it to the next World Cup. So yeah, I for me like the best way, if you really want to be respectful and all of that, let him play the Champions Trophy last ICC tournament and say goodbye after that. I as
So you
far as
can be respectful and still drop him from a like series. Like I
no,
don't
I
think
understand. I
There's
agree.
I
no
think
I
that
way.
goes.
See, there's no way that even if
that won't go
the
down well.
coach and the selectors handle it respectfully with the player behind closed room, there's no way it comes out in a polite way. Like it's
Yeah.
ultimately going to be you asked your captain before a series. Like it's not going to be, oh, you gave your captain a fitting farewell
No, but
right.
it was not unreasonable, Rishi. That's my point. It's not like
No,
you're
it is not
dropping him for the sake of like you want to put your own power play move, this, that. It is literally very respectfully saying, we don't think you're there right now. We have younger players who are playing better than you right now. We'd rather go with them. Like, for example, with Anderson getting kicked out of the test team, I think it was respectful at the end of the day. Like, even though
Yeah,
whatever it was
No, but
done,
that's a
like,
very
they gave
different
him a
story.
farewell test in Lords, ja.
but
Adi,
bro,
no,
that is
bro,
different.
Anderson is a
Like,
different story because Anderson was still performing very well. He was still England's
he
best bowler.
wasn't. No,
I think he
Rahul,
was,
he had a
bro.
terrible
Like
I
in
Ashes.
the conditions,
in
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 that
the
conditions,
summer,
he was still
I
generating
think he
lateral
was
movement like
Bro,
against
anybody
the
bro,
else.
West Indies. I think against the West Indies, he was England's best bowler. He was England.
please. See, I don't know about West Indies because I feel like anyone can be the best bowler against West Indies, but you
No,
go back
bro.
to pre.
Quality of bowling will you can still see it. Like as long as he's
No,
doing
but
his job, he's bowling the way
see,
he's supposed to be bowling. He was still too good. I still
but
think Anderson was still the best bowler. If he carried on, he would still be the best bowler in that English Test team.
but Rahul, the last two Ashes he had, he was poor, and like you saw Stuart Broad also, you could see him regressing. He retired, and the fact is, at the end of the day, I don't think Anderson was there. He was not as fast as he used to bowl,
He's not as
and
quick,
oh
but
no,
See,
but
in
he's
like
still very
Australia,
effective.
like not many English bowlers, pace bowlers have found it comfortable. Like who was there who bowled brilliantly? Maybe Stuart Broad because he could generate a little bit more bounce, and even Jafra Archer because they can get that steeple,
bro,
like
but
that steep
right now,
away from
you
the
think
pitch.
about the bowlers they have. Like they have Wood who can bowl pure pace. They have Archer now who can bowl pace. Like I think they've had enough like replacements. Even in Test, like I think you have bowlers like Wokes who are very good as Test players. So like no, my point
You don't
again.
have
I think we're
that
debating.
pure
Yeah,
swing
yeah.
bowler
Let's
who can hit
anyways,
that.
anyways.
Yeah.
Let's
But my
see.
point was like you can be respectful and still say like, like
Yeah.
I think your time has come. We are looking at a different direction, but we respect like you can be respectfully like you can drop them from the team, take them out of the team. Like I think it's done before it can still be done. Right? Like for me it's more of no, you look at again, you want to talk about respectful. I don't think we were then in that sense we were respectful for guys like Rane Pujara, especially Rane. You drop him, then suddenly you come for one World Test Championship final. Everyone's injured. You call him back to play that series, and then again you drop him. Like not everyone gets a so-called respectful farewell if you look at it like that. Like maybe very few players, like maybe who like Sachin would have gotten, Rahul Dravid would have gotten very
No, Brad. No, only it's only Sachin Tendulkar, but like
It's
anyways.
literally yeah,
no,
just
but I'm
Sachin.
like legacy players. They're like legacy players. Like I think they've earned it. Like with Rohit Sharma, right now, I think if we're dropping him, you can just say like you can be. It's very black and white. Like we don't think it makes sense. We want to move in a different direction. It's not like, bro. It's not like India lack leaders. You look at the T20 team, same England team versus the T20 team. They're bashing them 4-1. So I don't think it's a matter of you need leadership in this team. I think they have enough quality. Even yesterday, if Rohit Sharma didn't play, they would have won the game easily. Like I don't think there is a need for a so-called crazy captain here, where you're gonna like in Test cricket you need it because it's so grinding. It's 5 days, but in ODI, I feel like anyone can captain well if your team is good enough. You look at bro, just look at like the Indian team in the T20. I think they've done very well without Rohit Sharma. Also, it's not like they're struggling without Virat. Also, they're not
Yeah.
struggling. Like they're
No, I
able to
think
play.
as the formats get shorter, definitely the I think the need for a captain maybe reduces little.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one, but like we'll quickly move to the bowling side of things. Rishi, were you impressed with that bowling performances? Because I think Jadeja was, I mean, I think it was proper, bro. Like he was proper Jadeja. Harshit Rana picked up three, but was the most expensive of the lot. What have you made of his inclusion, bro? In this, suddenly he's a part of the Test setup, the T20 setup, and the ODI setup.
I mean, I feel Hashit Rana is someone like who's been added to like for doing too little too soon. Like, what
Hmm.
has he actually done to deserve like a test call up? Okay, fine, white ball. If you, even if you want to make the case, T20, fair enough. Like he's done decently in IPL. You can give him a spot. But again, to directly call him for tests and then ODIs, like what confused me was Arshdeep Singh, who was part of the Champions League, like Champions Trophy squad. He was made to sit out for Harshit Rana. Like, what's the point? Like, you want your players who are again fit and ready to play. You want to give them some game time. You want them to be match ready. You want them to feel the pressure and have the game experience. And then suddenly you're dropping him. It doesn't make sense whatsoever because like I've mentioned this before, and there could come a point where Arshdeep Singh might be our frontline pacer if Shami and Bumrah like get injured or have to be rested or something. In that case, like how are you making him sit? And on top of that, Phil Salt took him to the cleaners, like absolutely dispatched him. And then
Yeah.
the wickets that he got also were again Duckett. That wicket was I feel was purely down to that catch. Like that's a stunning catch. And then the world's best batter in all formats, the next young big thing, the
Bro, stop
greatest
this. Oh my
one
God.
has ever seen, Harry Brook. That was a nothing ball to get out to. Like my God. But then I think only the best in the world get out to such balls, so I don't know. So yeah, and then who else did he get? Whose wicket? I think Livingston.
Livingston. Bro, that was just a terrible shot. Like the Livingston was like, bro, I don't know what's living. Bro, this England batsmen, I don't think they know how to bat. They're also like in this Rohit Sharma mentality. They'll come face 3, 4 balls. They're like, okay, let me just swing for the sake of it. I'll get out and go back.
Yeah,
Like,
I swear. And the only time they looked comfortable was when Bethel and Butler were actually rotating the strike. They weren't even going at it. They were just
exactly.
rotating. Like I was genuinely a little bit concerned when they were going, but then as soon as Butler got his 50, when he decided to start donking, like yeah, bro, Harshit Rana, I'm not really convinced because right now I don't see the utility. Like if we are to use this as like a platform for the Champions Trophy, I don't see why we're giving
Ah,
him a chance.
yeah. And Arshdeep Singh, I think it's an interesting one because he's the one who's in the Champions Trophy squad, not Harshit Rana. Um,
Exactly.
so
No, but
given that,
Harshitana will come in if Bumrah is not there. So,
fair enough, fair enough. But so are they saying, oh, Bumrah might not play? But I'm still seeing Harshit. Obviously, Arshdeep Singh is ahead of Harshit Rana, right? Like in the pecking order. And if that is the case, he didn't play the last T20, right? It's not a rest case, right? Because if he didn't play the last T20, he surely should be ready to play this ODI.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a weird one. So I can't work that out. Same thing. I'm with you. I think for me, when I've seen Harshit Rana, nothing has told me that he's going to be India's next all three format bowler. Like I feel like when we saw Shami, when you saw Bumrah, when you saw Ishan Sharma early on in life, like there was something that kind of told you that oh, this guy, you know what, like he could actually be the next big thing in that fast bowling lineup. I've not seen any like for me personally, I've not seen too much from Harshit Rana to suggest that he's the next big thing that India have, and like his fast tracking thing is a little for me also it's a little odd.
bro, but
I
do you think when you saw some Siraj ball in the beginning, you were like, oh, this guy's the next big thing for India?
But you know what? Everything, whenever I seen Siraj Bowl play his like play games for India, like I've always
No,
felt
but
like
you saw him first in IPL. You know what I mean?
correct. No, but IPL, how will I judge you? Like, IPL and Test cricket, like that I can't do anything. Like,
Hey,
but
but
whenever I
Siraj
saw
is
Siraj
like
in
all
Test
three
cricket,
format.
when I saw Siraj in Test cricket, I did feel like, oh yeah, you know what? Oh damn, like he is
No, but
a
like,
red ball bowler.
but Siraj has played all three formats for India for a long time. It's not like
Yeah,
he's
I
only a
agree.
test.
I agree. I don't think no, but I'm saying I've seen a good chunk of Harshit Rana now that he's played his first Test, he's played his first T20,
Oh,
he's played his
come
first
on.
ODI.
He's 23, bro. It's just too young to say you can't make a lot
I'm
of.
not. I'm not saying he will not play for India or he should not play for India. I'm saying I feel like at this point it's a little too quick. I
Like you
think
have
it.
other options who can
And yeah,
play
like
now.
I'm
You
not.
have
I
other
think there may
like
be a
Bro,
player in the
for
future.
me is I think with Harshit Rana, the only thing is he's the only one who can ball 150 clicks for India right now. Like no one else is as fast as him. And he's
Yeah,
also has the Yeah.
No, he bowls 140,
140.
150.
Brother, what are you guys talking? Go look at the games. Like he was bowling 150. Like he reaches 150 with ease. Even against the what was that? Against the England in the T20 series, he was bowling 145, 150s. Like you can go check. He was 150. He bowled two balls. It was 150 plus. He's bowled 150 for a long time. He has good variation. Like he can bowl both like slow balls, cutters, and like he's very quick. And for me, one more thing is he
Quick
has
for
a.
sure.
Bro,
But
but
he's
you
not.
look at all the three wickets we spoke about. It was all down to short balls. Like you look at the what was that Duckett wicket? I think it was a good short ball. Like I don't think anyone else can ball that short to any player. Like even with Liam Livingstone was a short ball. Even with like what was that other guy? Harry Brooks was a short ball at the end of the day. And I feel like the reason he's being fast tracked is just because of his utility, his skills of like what he has, his height, the fact that he can ball quick, and he also has good variation. And I think bro, I can't lie, but even with Harshdeep Singh, it's not like he's not got his chances in ODI cricket. He's played like 8, 9 games. It's not like he's played that great to be
No,
like,
but
yeah, this
at the
guy
end of the day,
deserves.
he's in your squad. Like, should you not be playing him? Like, how does that make sense to
Yeah,
play Harshit
exactly.
Rana
If
ahead of
if
him?
if, if
But it's the
Arshdeep was
same thing,
already
like, okay, but it's
then
the
maybe
same conversation like
you have to
Jaiswal's
like
there,
address
but
your primary concern first. No.
No, like
no, but
Jaiswal is
the
in the
point,
squad. If Bumrah
what?
is fit and Arshdeep, say Bumrah is fit before the tournament, and you haven't played Arshdeep Singh, how are you going? That doesn't make any sense.
But I
You
think
have to play.
right now, see, for me, I think right now with Rana, I think he's still a good player. I don't think he's your prime bowler. I think he's a second, third bowler. And he can do the job. I know what you guys mean by okay, Harshit Rana is in the squad, he needs to play ODI cricket. I don't know why he played the first game. Maybe they're behind the scenes, they might include him in the see at the end of the day they can include Harshit Rana in the Champions Trophy squad also. It's not like they can't include him. So the fact is maybe they were trying him out yesterday to see if he can translate it in the ODI because he had his debut even in T20. He bowled pretty decent. Like you can't die. He got 3 wickets there. Even that game, you see, it was the short balls that made the England batsmen struggle to it. Like they couldn't face a short ball, and even yesterday they couldn't face the short ball that well. And maybe that's the reason they're like, okay, let's. Maybe it was just an audition. I don't want to look into it too much, but I still feel like he deserves a chance to be there. Like I get the chance. I get the idea of he's not done enough to like get a debut continuously over guys like Ashdeep Singh who played for like 2, 3 years straight. But bro, like for me at least, Singh hasn't done much also in ODI. Like he's gotten 8 games to play. And what like in that I think he's had only 2 good games. Apart from that, he's also been very okay. So if like I don't blame India trying Harshit Rana for the first ODI series because you still have 2 more games. If you really don't want to take with Harshit Rana, you can come back to Ashdeep Singh.
No,
You
but
have two
then
more
you
games.
wouldn't have played Arshdeep Singh, who has to play the Champions Trophy.
But that's my point. Like you can still play him in the next 2 games, right? It's not like you
Yes,
have to
that's
play
what
him.
I hope. Like I don't. I think
I feel
regardless
like
of
they were
what you
trying
do
to
with Harshit Rana,
see what
Arshdeep
it
Singh
was.
has to play because he's in your squad. You've named him in your squad. You've thought about it. Play him. Play him for the next 1 or 2 games.
Like
Bro.
it's
See
not.
how
See now,
keep him
like I'm
ready.
not saying like the whether the decision to add Harshit Rana, I mean Ashdeep Singh was ideal or not. Now my point is that decision has been made. Now we
Exactly,
have to
exactly.
like, we have to move accordingly such that we get the best out of him. And what is
But the
going to get the
point,
best out of him to give him the match practice.
no, but the point is they can still put Arshit Rana. That's my point. I think they gave him a chance in the first ODI to see what he can get out. Bro, it's
No, so
like
that's what I'm saying. What if Bumrah is fit? What will you do then?
it doesn't matter. Even Arshit Rana still be in the squad, right? Until like even
He's
if
not
Bumrah
in the
comes.
He's
15.
not part of the
He's a
squad
reserve. He's not in
unless
the
an
squad.
injury and someone withdraws
Yeah.
and leaves the squad. Only then Harshit Rana
Then
will be
only
added.
Harshit Rana plays. Like
But
he's not.
bro, it was literally written like if Bumrah is not fit, like Harshit Rana is going to play.
Yeah,
And the
yeah, that's
fact,
what he's not.
Correct.
He's
So
not in
if
the
Bumrah is
squad.
ah,
not
He's
yeah,
not in
but
the
like
squad. Bumrah has been named. Only
yeah,
right,
if
but
so
my
Bumrah
whole
is
point.
not
like it's
fit.
not going to be a one match
But okay,
replacement.
now
They're
you
going
think
to
about it like this. Now, if
squad.
Bumrah is injured and Harshit Rana has to play, he's not never played in ODI. I think that's my point. My point is, I think they played him yesterday to just to see what we can get out of Harshit Rana. We don't know what we
I
can get out
agree.
of him.
I'm fine with that. But I'm saying now in the next 2 days, you have to play Arshdeep because he's in the
Ah,
squad. He's likely to play. He has to. You cannot go another game without playing Arshdeep Singh.
bro, that see, logic works with us, but you go tell this to Gambhir, he will twist it and tell it back on us, saying, "How can you question me?" So the fact is, we
But I'm
we
just
all know how it works. Like that's my point. Like I'm trying to put reason behind why they did played Harshit Rana yesterday. Now I actually wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even get a chance because, bro, I don't know how like this Rohit Sharma works, Gambhir works. Like they're like next level. Bro, they're playing four spinners in T20 games. They're playing three full-time spinners in ODI. Like, bro, I don't know how they're going to do it. Like, I can't sit and say it is how it's going to happen. Like, for me, I wouldn't be surprised if Arshdeep Singh only gets to play in the last ODI game. Because, like, sometimes, your coaches or, like, your captains can just take it however they want. So, like, in that sense, I don't know. But for me, at least, playing Harshit Rana yesterday was reasonable. It was not that the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, just in the sense that okay, yeah, Bumrah, if he doesn't make it, like, and you have to try Harshit Rana, give him that match experience. Fair enough. But yeah, we are looking ahead to the second ODI, 9th of February. That's a Sunday, and yeah, India 1-0 up. Another win here will seal the series, but more importantly, it's just I think match practice for the Champions Trophy. We'll wrap it up with that, guys. Thanks for joining. Please like and share the video, subscribe to Sports Kabri, catch the second ODI, and we'll be here to discuss it after that. Goodbye.